Here we are with part two of chapter two of the homework machine. And if you remember, Brenton had just pulled out his homework on the solar system 15 problems of fill in the blank. Miss Rasmussen, fifth grade teacher. I don't believe in tests for fifth graders. At this age, I would rather the kids not feel so much pressure. Their daily homework assignments and special projects are more important and more educational. I usually give assignments in which the students have to answer multiple choice questions or provide short answers. They're easier to grade. Kelsey Donnelly, grade 5. Brenton slipped the sheet into the scanner and sat down at the computer again. We were all making faces behind his back and rolling our eyes and trying not to laugh. He typed in a bunch of stuff, just like before. Judy Douglas, grade 5. Nothing happened for a really long time, like over a minute. It was really awkward. We all sat there without making a sound. Brenton kept saying it will only take a minute or so, and just be patient. The computer made some noises, but nothing seemed to be happening. I think I was the one who said I really should be getting home. I was embarrassed for Brenton. I didn't want to see him fail, and I didn't want Snick to humiliate him. Sam Dawkins, grade 5. I'm sitting there the whole time, thinking how much fun it's going to be to tell everybody at school about Brenton's totally lame homework machine. But then, the printer starts making that humming sound. Kelsey Donnelly, grade 5. The printer made some noise, and Brenton sat back in his chair. Judy Douglas, grade 5. The paper slid out of the printer. I was sitting on that side, so I picked it out. And here is a copy of Brenton's homework, complete with all of the answers filled in. And for the longest time, we all just looked at it. I didn't know what to say. Nobody knew what to say. Sam Dawkins, grade 5. That thing worked! The thing freaking worked! Every question was answered. The answers were all right, it seemed to me. Not only that, but the answers were written in Brenton's handwriting, and the letters were even in blue ink. I mean, it was perfect. You'd never know that a machine did it. I couldn't believe my own eyes. Judy Douglas, grade 5. We were all stunned. It was just amazing. It would have taken me half an hour to look up all that information. Brenton just slipped the paper into the scanner, and the answers popped out a minute later. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would never have believed it. Kelsey Donnelly, grade 5. I figured it was a trick. It had to be. Like there had to be a little man inside the computer who did the work. But there wasn't. It was an honest to goodness homework machine. Brenton Damagachi, grade 5. Of course it worked. I put the system together over the summer and started using it for my homework starting in September. I really have nothing against doing homework, honestly, but it can be time consuming. Having the machine do the homework for me allows the machine to do, or allows me to pursue other interests. I want to find out more about psychology, physics, and medicine. I hope to find a cure for spinal cord injuries someday. There are only 24 hours in a day, unfortunately. The homework machine gave me more time. Sometimes I wish I lived on Venus or Mercury. Did you know that it takes 176 Earth days for Mercury to make one rotation? And it takes 243 Earth days for Venus to make one rotation. So a day on Venus lasts 243 Earth days. How much more could one accomplish in a lifetime if each day lasted that long? On the other hand, it would suck to live on Jupiter. A day there only lasts 10 hours. You couldn't get much done in all that time at all. Plus, the planet is pretty much a giant ball of gas, which would be difficult to live on. Miss Rasmussen, fifth grade teacher. Sadly, Brenton is not challenged enough at our school. We simply don't have the resources to stimulate his mind properly. He needs to be in a school for special students like himself. He should be taking high school level classes. I certainly enjoyed having him in my class, but sometimes I felt that he was bored there. I have to teach for all the kids. In October, we did a special project in which I asked the students to design a catapult. You know, those machines they used in ancient times to hurl rocks and things. I thought this would be a good assignment because they would be learning about science, history, and physics, and they'd be having fun at the same time. Well, all the kids came in with these adorable little catapults made out of popsicle sticks and plastic spoons and rubber bands, except for Brenton. His catapult was the size of a desk. It had ropes and springs and pulleys and levers. It even had a computer chip in it to help you aim the projectile you were firing. I didn't even understand it. It was simply amazing. We took all the catapults out to the playground and had a little contest. Most of them didn't work very well, but Brenton's threw a basketball over the school. I was sure that Brenton's father must have done all the work. Parents do that sometimes, and I knew that Brenton's father was a very smart man who worked in the computer industry. But no, at our parent teacher conference, Mr. Damagotchi told me he didn't even know Brenton had made a catapult. That was after Brenton brought it home and stored it in the garage. Brenton Damagotchi, grade 5. You want to know about the catapult? I did a little research into Greek and Roman history. The basic principles of the catapult were known back in the 9th century BC. I merely refined them. I don't want to bore you with all the details, but basically all the parts of the catapult need to be proportional to the size of the torsion springs. It's simple mechanics, really. That kind of a thing was fun for me. I never would have used the homework machine for something like the catapult assignment. Sam Dawkins, grade 5. Catapults are cool. Miss R showed us some website that said the Romans didn't have gunpowder back then, so they used catapults to fling boulders and burning garbage and even dead bodies at their enemies in a war. Can you imagine you're fighting somebody and they start heaving rotten food and stuff at you? War was even cool back then. That was the first time I ever had a homework assignment that was cool. Judy Douglas, grade 5. I didn't like the catapult assignment at all. I didn't think that war was an appropriate subject for us to study in school. There are more important things for us to learn. Kelsey Donnelly, grade 5. My catapult sucked. It could barely throw a ping pong ball 10 feet. Everybody cracked up. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So the paper popped out of Brenton's printer, and the worksheet was all filled out. After we realized the homework machine was for real, we were all talking at once, asking Brenton how it worked, how he invented it, how smart it was, and stuff like that. Brenton Damagotchi, grade 5. The machine is simple, really. The scanner scans the worksheet and feeds the data into the computer. That's no big deal. I modified pattern recognition software that would interpret the words and numbers to figure out what is being asked. If the information is already in the computer, such as the sum of 2 plus 2, the computer simply spits out the answer, and the printer prints out a duplicate copy of the worksheet with the answers. If the information is not in the computer, such as the diameter of the Earth, the computer automatically goes to the internet, where virtually all of the world's knowledge is stored in digital form. It seeks out the answer from the most reliable website, cross checks it against other websites, and the printer prints it out. The most difficult part was designing the software to print the answers in a typeface that looked like my own handwriting. It's not science fiction. It's pretty basic stuff, really. I'm surprised nobody else thought of it before me. Sam Dawkins, grade 5. Once I see a thing in action, I go ballistic. I say to myself, this is better than Edison's invention of the light bulb. This is better than the Wright brothers' invention of the airplane. This is the answer to all my prayers. Homework was the one thing I hated more than anything else in the world. Homework was the thing that made life so difficult. If I play my cards right, I say to myself, I'll never have to do it again. Suddenly, I realized that for all his dorkiness, Brenton was the kind of kid I really want to hang out with. Judy Douglas, grade 5. When that piece of paper popped out of the printer, I felt like I was witnessing a history making event. Brenton Damagotchi, grade 5. There was one thing I never told anyone. Shortly after I started using the homework machine for my own purposes, I received a mysterious email. It was from somebody who said he'd like to meet me. That's all it said. At the bottom of the email, there was a name, R. Milner. I know better than to respond to strangers online. He could have been crazy or a child molester or whatever. I ignored the message. Kelsey Donnelly, grade 5. It was cool. Definitely cool. I couldn't wait until we got our next homework assignment so we could try it again. And that is the end of chapter 2.